Hi, welcome to the Sifu Mimi Chan Show. Thanks for joining the conversation.
Hey,
Hi there.
how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Very busy.
Oh, oh no, very busy. Well, good busy or
Busy. Busy.
busy,
Just
busy. Got it.
just busy.
I understand. I understand. I'm not that I'm not still there, but I was really there a week ago. So
You guys are okay?
we're so okay. I mean, we cannot be more fortunate. Like, unbelievably fortunate, like compared to the coast, of course, as always. Like, that's the thing. It's always so devastating because then everybody else around you is not okay. And we're always just like, wow, we're really lucky. We lost power, but no big deal. Like, I never complain about
Yeah.
that. As long as I have water, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, just so grateful. Like, the Kung Fu school was fine. We still had my father's events, and people flew in from all over the world and still made it to Orlando because it was such a it's an event we planned 3 years in advance. So it was like,
Yeah.
okay, of course this is happening.
Yeah.
But it's still stressful, right? It doesn't mean like leading up, we're watching this huge storm that covers the entire state like creeping towards us and coming like through, but it went like exactly south enough to not
Yeah.
to not be problematic for us, but which means someone else got it worse.
Yeah.
But
No, no, no.
what do you do, right? You can't like hope for that, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like
And
self-preservation
also
is good.
you can't feel bad either, right?
Right,
It's like,
right,
oh,
exactly. It's
I
like,
feel bad we were spared. I'm not sure that's
yeah, I
yeah.
know. But it was funny because you always reach out. Like, you and Jen, you guys are amazing. You always reach out. But I had people that I never hear from going, are you guys going to be okay? Because I didn't, as you know, I don't watch the news. So I didn't realize what the media was like reporting and how crazy and intense the hype was, which of course it
Yeah.
was a really big storm, but some people forwarded me some stuff, like that one meteorologist that was like crying and emotional. And then so I understood then why people were like coming out of the woodworks like, are you gonna survive? Are you in Florida? I'm like, yeah, we're in Central Florida. We're probably okay. But yeah, I realize how crazy the media made it seem too. Not that it wasn't a big storm, but they
Yeah, I
really,
mean those are two different things. So yeah,
yeah.
the media frenzy being its own thing doesn't actually diminish the fact that that was a remarkable storm.
It was. It really it
That was
was.
not something that had been seen before. So
Plus, the coast had just gotten over the previous hit,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
so,
you guys had just had
luckily for
Helene.
them,
So
yeah, and luckily they didn't get that direct on. Like, it went a little more north, but a lot of those places were still flooded and still recovering and still putting their act back together. And it was like, oh,
yeah,
okay, here we go again. So it
yeah, no,
reminded us of
it's
that Charlie, where it was just like we got hit like three in a row. Like, it wasn't as bad as that for us in Central Florida anyway. It wasn't as bad as that, but
yeah,
it was
it
scary though.
was
Yeah, it was
it
scary.
was it was a legit double whammy, I think you can say. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, but we are good. Thank you so much. Yes. And
I'm glad everybody is all right.
yes, yes. All good, all
Well,
good. So,
that being of some concern. So
I
yeah.
know, I know it, I know it. And then, it's funny because are we rolling? Are we pre-rolling? I never know with us. Hello, hello.
What is it? It's only 3 minutes late.
Yeah, this
We've
is this
sometimes
is good for
gone
us. This is good for
we've
you and I.
sometimes
Like
gone
20
10 or
minutes in.
15. Yeah. So I mean, this is
Well,
nothing.
well, the reason too was because I was so good about pre-hurricane, like, don't worry, friends in the Discord, I'll let you know we're good. And then of course, like, it hits and then we're like so busy because we're getting the generator going and then we had to go check, I was like, I didn't log back onto that
Yeah, because
stuff. And then
you
you're like,
like let's check. Yeah. Well, once we got word from you,
yeah. And
that
then
was
you posted
okay.
for me, which is
So
really nice of you. So thank you.
yeah.
But love our friends there. Everybody's always so concerned about us Floridians, and there's other Floridians in there too, and hopefully everyone fared okay. So I know I always wonder though what it's like where you guys are just watching and then you see like this thing, this like monster just that's gonna cover our whole state. You know, metaphorical monsters as well
Yeah,
as
no,
real
no.
storm
As
monsters that
opposed
we
to
get all the
the
time.
real, your real Floridian monsters. Yeah.
Yeah.
I no, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for how other people perceive these things. I have been talking to a couple people the last few days about how easy we all are to manipulate. Even when we think that we're aware of it, even when we are aware of it, even when we think we're like, pushing back. It's like, it's real easy to press all of our buttons and even to press our buttons knowing, you know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, it doesn't take much to get people panicking about a storm. It doesn't take much to get people panicking about stuff that really isn't worth panicking over, or even like, so, hurricanes were real. They've got people panicking over shit that's not real. So,
Yes, yes.
it's
So it's a
it's
legitimate like concern. It was coming. It did do damage, and yeah.
yeah.
So it's
It
at
was
least it's a legitimate thing. It's the problem is we're all heightened all the time now. So then
oh
it's
yeah, no, we're living in agonizing hyper vigilance, I guess. Just got to get through the election.
I know. So it was so funny because I go, okay, Oscar, I'm talking to Greg on Thursday. And I'm like, so this is probably going to release like it's supposed to release Tuesdays, which is the day of the election, because this is what this is key for. And I was like, but I'll probably need to release it on Monday before the election because I'm sure we're going to talk things. Or I could just be like, let's talk about comics. I don't know how that's going to go
we can
because
do
my
that
my
too.
sigh of relief is gone. I just want to say it out loud. My sigh of relief is gone.
And replaced by what?
Well, remember, I barely had the sigh of relief, and it's because
Yeah,
I still am
so
not taking in media, but people like to keep coming up and telling me, like, the
yes,
polls
because
are so close.
they're not the polls that are being released in certain places and that have been gamed, like nobody knows
Yeah.
now,
Well,
right?
do
Like
you know people that have been
truth is
polled?
objectable. No.
I don't know anyone that's ever been polled, so I'm
And
always
my
curious, who are
understanding,
these people?
yeah, I that's not true for the general. I got pulled for a local measure
Oh,
for
okay.
this election cycle, right? I got a call for it, and they called my cell, right? So as opposed to it being quote unquote only landlines, but there's lies, damn lies, and statistics,
Mm, hmm.
and everything is there's no profit in the truth right now, and there's no profit in a lack of drama. So, and then add to that the genuine, legitimate concerns if you are basically anything but a particular subset of white Christian male, right? And even the Christian there is getting sliced really thin, right? We've all got, it goes back to our anxiety triggers. Like we've all got reasons to be really, really frightened if we've been paying any attention at all. Any attention at all. If you've even looked at, the Project 2025 stuff, and like, the comic launched what now 2 weeks ago and is out there, and it seems to be getting a little penetration, but a lot of folks just don't seem to realize. No. So the people who realize exactly like how vile the plan is, right, have every reason to. It's nerve wracking, but that's a separate thing than, and it's a guarantee, it's a fait accompli, it's going to happen, and then that's a different thing than what are the shenanigans going to be post election? And that's a different thing than the maggots trying to, before before the election, before election day, already calling, already prepping to say it was stolen and so on. There's an argument that says they're working so hard to say that because it's going to be a fucking blowout. And part of the reason why you're seeing the polls that you're seeing are for them to be able to say, okay, but see, the polls said it wasn't going to be a blowout. So obviously something's hinky. And it's like,
Mm,
no, motherfuckers. No. So I mean,
yeah,
look, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I
I know.
think I think the vast number of voters may not be hip to the bullshit, but I think they're real tired of it. I think about how fatigued we are, and I am picking up my phone right now, and I am going to go and look at my text messages. And oh look, yet again, they're desperate. We need just one more from my zip code gift to hit our goal. You know what? That's not even an official campaign. How many of those are you getting? Like how
Oh,
many
I
people are
know.
getting
And
that
you,
all
and
the
in
time?
Florida, you know what kind of notes I'm getting. I'm
How
like, I don't
many?
want your fucking hat. I don't want
Yeah,
it.
all of the
Elon
the
Musk has a hat
emails.
for you. I'm like, F off, Elon Musk.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's the type of text that I get. I'm like, how do you have
yeah.
my number?
I
So,
so I mean, look, it's just there's people are exhausted and people are frustrated, and a lot of us who stand to lose a lot, and by lose a lot, I don't mean financially, you know.
mhm,
Of course, we're stressing. Like, you can't ignore it. They're
mhm.
making sure you can't ignore it. So, we have to engage in the self-care of going, well, where am I looking and what am I looking at? And recognizing, like, my sort of new policy is going, look, I can't keep myself from being manipulated, right? It's
Mhm.
going to happen. Like
Right.
I'm going to react. I'm going to feel what I feel. The trick is don't act on it,
Right. It's the actions. It's
right?
not the,
Yeah.
yes.
They're going to press the button,
Yeah.
uh, and and I'm going to react to it because I'm programmed that way, and I can know, like I said, I can know this is manipulation, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work. What is then incumbent on me is reason, right? And going, okay, so am I going to jump on this emotionally or not? And trying to step back enough to see it. And I think it's really important to engage with people who can have empathy with that. I don't want right now a conversation with somebody telling me calm down,
Hmm.
right? I don't need that. And I don't want somebody's rational conversation of, well, American politics are like, I don't fucking care. What I need right now is empathetic listening.
Hmm.
That's it. Just need you to hear my anxiety, my fears, right? That's what we need to offer each other. It's like, I'm with you.
Yes.
I
We're
I
together.
understand
We
it. It's
feel
for
what we feel.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you're feeling is
It's
real,
real. Yes.
and
Valid.
it's okay.
Yes.
I am validating it,
Yes.
and I am
Yes.
here, and now, like, having said it, I don't have to carry it alone,
Yes.
and
Yes.
now we can move on to other things, and
Yes. Agree. Agree. Agree.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a rough goddamn ride, Mimi, and of course
Oh
it
my God.
is because there's a lot at stake,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it could be we could be a watershed moment for good or for evil.
Yes. 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 Well, we will keep the hope, dare I say, alive.
Yeah.
And since I am planning on trying to release this pre-election date,
Yes.
this is just a reminder, guys. You have a
Yeah. Vote.
choice. Go out and do
Vote.
it. Help get this done. So, um,
I've seen a whole lot lately of the if your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't be working so hard to keep
yes,
you from it.
exactly. That is 1,000,000% true because it is so happening here, especially with like for us, Amendment 4 is on the ballot, which is, the 6-week abortion ban, and they're trying to even get it off the ballot because they're like in litigation. I mean, they're just so worried. So they're trying to cheat as usual. So there's a lot at stake here. Yeah, there's a lot at stake here. So it's super important. Say no to all the judges, Floridians, if you're out there, just say no to all of them. They're all DeSantis appointed. So that's my voter guide. It makes it really easy. Yes on 4, no to all the judges. But yeah, that's all. I mean, we do our part and that's it. But
Yeah.
but I have been thinking about you because Oscar is a big reader, as you know, and it'll be I can always tell when he wraps up a book or when he's really into one, he'll walk in and be like, "Yep, yep, Greg was right." It's
Oh
usually
God.
about the whole everything is surrounded about greed and it's all about, money and like how people are and that's like just the root of it and whether it's fiction or whether it's nonfiction, it's like always the same themes and he'll always come in and go, "Well, yep, Greg was right, of course, again." So so you're
I
always on our minds here
uh,
in Orlando.
I mean, this is not necessarily for good reasons, but I'm glad.
I mean, at least you're
I'm
right.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's I would prefer I think I've said this before. There are lots of things I prefer to be wrong about.
Right?
So I've been
Agree.
I was in New York last week around the con and
Yes.
got to
Did you
see
go?
Dash. No, I
Of
never
course
go.
not. I know you're
I
always there
no.
during, but then you don't go.
I go to be around it, right? There are
Okay. So
people
you catch people and
exactly like
yeah.
I saw Leo,
Okay.
Alejandro Leo and I had
Yes.
dinner. I met with a couple of DC editors and that was cool and things
Yeah.
like that. But
Okay.
the Javits Center is one of its own circles of hell, in my opinion, and
I've never been. And so I had
it's
FOMO
just
this time because so many
no.
people I
And
knew were there. And I was like,
there's the great people there doing great things. And it's a super spreader event. It is
oh, okay.
definitionally a super spreader event,
Okay.
and yeah. So I was like, yeah, I didn't go out last year for whatever reason, and this year I did. So it was
Okay.
nice. I got to see my friend Oz, not nearly long enough, but I got to see
Oh,
Oz. Got to spend some time with Dee, and that was great. And she's
yeah.
doing really
She's
well.
doing well.
Yeah,
Amazing.
got to see the oh man, what is it? The Tales from the Tavern. For
Mm,
now I gotta look this up here.
okay.
Um
It's a show.
yeah.
Cool.
Uh
You know what?
yeah.
Maybe I should take the Greg Rucka New York Comic Con path and just like go during it, but not go. But I don't know that I could do that. You know me. I'll end up on
Well,
like
it
three
was
panels without like knowing, just randomly. Like,
I
which is not true. They may not even want me, so who knows?
I look, it is it's a big show.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my understanding is it's now rivaling, San Diego.
Ooh.
And um okay. Uh there's something to be said for playing it. I don't need to participate in it yet. Right. Or
Hmm.
right now. Where I am is a lull, everything I'm working on, nothing is coming out. So
Hmm.
and
Perhaps when we
honestly,
have that
I'm starting to get
Lazarus.
a I'm starting to get a little it's honestly starting to get to me. I think it was Rose City this year where, enough people came up and said, "So, are you working on anything?" Or it was like, "Oh
Wait,
wow,
did you go in September?
Rose City was here. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just a
went to
month
Rose
ago.
City. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So,
okay.
you know,
Have we not
and
talked since
ended
then?
up,
I can't remember.
and I think we did.
Well, we
But I ended up
released an
tabling.
episode, but okay, you did table. Okay.
Yeah, I ended up tabling alone because Mike Henderson got COVID,
Oh
uh,
no, Mike.
and Troutman didn't come down. So I
Oh.
ended up anchoring a table alone, and it was just after the Saturday of, well, aren't you doing anything new? It was like, oh, okay, this sucks.
This is what
It's we're
happens when you
now.
go without me.
It's
I'm
not
just
that.
teasing
It's
you.
like two
No, but
years
I
in,
see
and
what you
there's
mean
just
because people
well, but
aren't up to
but
date too on like what's
no,
happening.
it's not even they're not up to date. Maybe there's nothing out, right?
Yet.
Like they don't know about the Forged.
Right.
Lazarus is a full year and a half later than it should have been.
Right. But the forged, you
Black
can be like,
Magic,
yeah, hello.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we did,
Right,
I
right,
did,
right,
but
right.
at a certain point, it's just like, okay, enough,
Well, like
So
but the thing is when it rains, it pours for you because then everything's gonna come out at the same time, it feels
yeah,
like.
next year is going to be crazy.
Yeah. So we'll go together next year.
Well, let's see.
I know. No,
Well,
but
let's
I
see.
know it's exhaustive and it's like, okay.
It is, and that's the other thing. I have to
Yeah.
say, conventioning, I think, is a young person's game. I am just, I don't have the stamina. I mean, and I say this is, I just, yeah. Alejandro was tabling at New York Comic Con, and it's the
Okay.
first time that he's tabled. Right? He
Oh,
was there in with his creator hat, with his writer hat on,
okay.
and we were talking and he was like, yeah, I'm exhausted. And I was like, yeah, it's different, isn't it?
Yes.
When you are behind a table
Yes.
and you are having to put out the energy and engage with people all the time, very different than when you are, oh no, I'm just here to meet with a few folks.
Right.
Like
It's
it
super
takes a
different.
lot.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
Spencer was there. Did you see Spencer?
I did not see Spencer, and I
Okay.
actually should have
And
dropped the line. His
yeah,
Iron
he did.
Man
His
came
Iron
out,
Man
and
came
oh
out.
my gosh, very, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. People
Super
need to pick it
exciting.
up.
Yeah,
People
super
need to pick it up.
exciting, super exciting. And he tabled.
Not surprising, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
I was not surprised to see that he executed. You
Okay.
know what
Well,
I
right,
mean?
of course, of course.
Um,
But I mean, having he had, done the previous one, but at the same time, you're just like, it's still a different genre than his newsletter writing, than his journalism.
yeah, but
So
he's
to
also
pivot
like
is
he's been soaking in comics all his life, though.
true.
So
I don't know. You can be a fan, but still not be able to be a creative. That's like
fair
saying,
enough.
like, oh, I
And
love watching movies, therefore I can make a film. It doesn't really work.
sure, but the flip side of that is people who become filmmakers tend to get there because they watch a lot of movies and love
Yes,
them.
of course. No, and
So
also
like
he's a
the one
legit
doesn't
author, like a
require the
writer.
other.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Yeah,
knows how to
exactly.
tell a story and a narrative. It's just
He knows how to
getting
put
the
the
right
words
medium.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just putting yourself into that other like that
yeah, yeah.
light switch of a medium. So I'm noticing your fingers are so inky and I'm like, what is
I
happening?
have been Jen and I are filling out the postcards to voters.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought you were just like getting down with that
no,
fountain
we've
pen again
got
and
oh
just
no, I am,
oh, you're
right? Because
using it, but it's for the
it's a great excuse
postcards.
to use the pens, but
Yes.
we've got to finish up our thousand or
Oh my
however many
gosh.
that and we have to have them done pretty much tomorrow because they've got to
I
go
was gonna
out on
say
the
tomorrow,
26th.
right? Yeah, they got to be out by
Well,
tomorrow. Oh
they
my gosh.
mail on the 26th.
Oh,
So
okay.
we need to get the
Turn them
last of
in and
them.
then
Yeah, and we're down to I think the last 100.
oh
So
my
I
gosh.
was literally that's what I was doing the hour before getting on this with you.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
I've been
So,
trying to get on a writing schedule, like an actual lockdown writing schedule, and
okay.
I actually got cranky with my manager and literary agent today, and I was like, no more. no more anything between 10 and 3. That has to be. I don't want people calling me. I need
Yeah, that makes
leave me
sense.
alone so I can write. So
Yeah, you should. Yeah, that
and
sounds about right.
your new email scheduling thing, which
Sorry.
keeps chiming every time it came, and then you like send me 4 texts in a row, and it's like Mimi, I'm trying to write. I'm
Well,
trying to
so
write. My phone
I'm
keeps
so
going
sorry.
ping.
I didn't know this. One is okay, my new thing I fixed because it was sending a reminder the 24 hours and then the hour before. So I fixed it and
I
took that
got
away.
it sent me. I got the initial schedule.
Yes,
I got a
the
reminder like
24.
3 days ago.
Really?
Then I got the
Hmm.
then I got the 24, and then I was like, okay, it's like I know, trust
No,
me,
well,
I know
so
I'm gonna be there. I will
because it
be at the
only
podcast.
it sent it to me and then I'm like, oh, I got the 24 and then the one. But I this is a new scheduler thing because I'm trying to help my
Yeah,
life out
yeah,
and it'll help me once I get it. But then
sure.
I really did think we were going to be on Eastern time 3. So that's why I was texting you 10 minutes before 3 my time. And then I was
Yeah,
like
because
on the
yes,
Zoom and then
you
I
and I
was like
I thought we had been pretty
uh,
clear about
you know
that.
what? It's my fault because I usually try to always talk about the guest time frame, and for some reason, probably because I didn't sleep for a week, like the week before, I'm not up to par yet. Like that hurricane
You
week with the Kung
you're
Fu
still coming
weekend,
back.
I'm definitely still coming back. Like I'm still like waking up at 2:30 sometimes. Like I'm
Yeah.
still coming down from it. It's the
Hey,
adrenaline was so
no, the
high.
last time we talked was before the trip.
Before Africa.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
that's what I'm saying. It was August. That's why I was like, wait, you went to Rose City? I know we would have talked about this, but we had a podcast release between then, but we didn't actually talk. So, yes, I talked to you before Africa. That makes sense because it's
Yeah,
been whirlwind since then because it's been go, go,
it's
go
been
preparing for
busy.
this event. Yeah. And you're busy
Yeah,
too. So, well, I'm
yeah.
now
Well,
I know
trying
your
to be.
hours. I won't text you until after 3 your
Oh
time,
no,
Pacific.
I'm gonna get draconian about it. I'm gonna start switching on the do not disturb.
Oh yeah,
Um,
obviously. But
I
even
am
still, I don't even want them waiting for you. Like
like Jen has a friend named Jen, and
Jen, yes, Jen.
Yeah,
Moist, yeah.
Mosier, and so she and Mosier had a conversation about how both of their spouses have this fantasy of like going away to some place where they can just work and be allowed to work, and it was pointed out that yeah, they have phones in those places. Like the problem is not the location, the problem is your
The
inability to
devices.
disengage from all the other shit around you, and it's true.
That is
And
definitely half of it. But
and
I actually have
funny.
people showing up like at my house, right? So like I do
Yeah,
need to be away. I do need to be
yeah,
away because that's why I go on the cruises because then I won't get the Wi-Fi package because it's
yeah,
like $20 an hour if
yeah.
you don't have the
Silence.
package. So then you're like, I'm not connected. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's kind of our new plan. But that is funny because it's like, yeah, the location's not the problem, the phone is the problem and not
yeah.
looking at
It
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 and
is. Some of it I have to assume responsibility for.
what? I have to take
I am
responsibility?
trying to be
No.
I'm trying to be responsible about it. I don't necessarily like it, but I'm trying.
I love it. We're
Um,
all a work in progress, so it's fine.
yes, constantly. So,
I love
but
it.
yeah, I mean, I'm so far behind on the novel. I really wanted to be done by now, and it's like, wow, I lost
Done.
basically a whole month. So
Okay.
this is now very actively me being like, no, no, we're doing this. It's
Okay.
going to get done.
I owe
So
you more notes, I think, too. So I need to get
yeah,
the
it's all right. It's all right. We're kind of past it right now.
Oh, you're past it. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
you'll
I
be able
gave
to
you
come
the
back at a
first set
certain
of
point.
notes. I gave you the first set of notes, but then you had asked me to do a read, and I'm like, oh, I don't, because I don't have the
Yeah,
actual like,
yeah.
I
But when
only
I
do
get there,
audiobooks. So,
when I get there,
okay.
we'll put it in front of Oscar. He can read it to you. How about
Oh, okay. I like
that?
that. Yes, I like that. So, but yeah, I'm glad then I at least got my first assignment out to you.
Oh yeah,
So it's so
no,
funny.
it fit pretty much what I had done for that
Oh,
sequence
cool.
anyway. So stuff like that's a good gut check,
Yeah, I
right?
love
Because
that.
it's
I love
like,
that. Yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense. That makes total sense. Gut checks are important. Like, I feel like I need them all the time. And it makes me go, what am I just like not confident anymore? I just always want to have like reaffirmations. Like, tell me again, was this right? Did I do this right?
I don't know. Sometimes, like, you got nothing wrong with double checking. Like, nothing wrong with double checking, you know?
Okay, so since you're kind of in novel mode, right? I've been
Yeah.
reading these like how to be a better storyteller, and there's an audiobook that Oscar and I are listening to from somebody that now I'm gonna forget the name or whatever, but like I was like, "Oh, should I talk to Greg about election stuff or should I just pick his brain selfishly on like for my, selfish Matthew Dix. I don't know if you've ever heard of Matthew Dix, but anyway, he
No.
does like it's mostly verbal, so it's not necessarily about writing, but he's
Uh-huh.
one like a really great storyteller and has done I don't even know what it is, not competitions per se, but something like that. Like he does coaching and all of that, but really good storyteller and of course we heard him on a podcast like Oscar
I see. Yes.
Oscar
Making
previews
stories
everything.
come alive.
Yeah, and so like kind of the art of storytelling, but a lot of it is more for like live, which is good because I do a lot of lectures and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. But then of course I've been trying to be in this quote unquote writing mode, and part of it was do I need to just leave town for a month like you said and like go to a
Mhm.
tower because I think BK Vaughn does. He has like a special like I'm going to my place or whatever, like don't talk to me. And
Yeah.
last time he was telling me he had a place, so I don't know if that's a thing. And I know Bendis
There
writes at
are,
night, like
yeah, I
through the
mean,
night.
Bendis's whole life is oriented around, literally, his whole life is oriented around preserving that writing zone, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you can, and having done that at times, it can work really well, but it requires, he also has a really comprehensive support system in place for that.
yes, 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 yes.
Um,
Everything, yeah, yeah. Everything works
and
in the household
yeah,
for towards that
yeah,
goal.
to that
Yes,
goal,
to to help
and
that goal. Yeah,
there have been times when I've uprooted myself and been like, all right, I'm gonna,
I
it was
remember.
not an yeah, I mean, it was not uncommon back in the old novel days for me to go to a hotel for a couple days,
Mhm.
just with the plan of I am locking myself in and I am typing, and that's all I'm doing.
Yeah,
And but the older I got, and certainly post kids, the harder it became to
of
do that
course.
because it was felt like, oh, I'm abandoning Jen and the
Yeah.
kids, and so these days it would be abandoning Marlowe more than anybody else.
And we all know Marlowe's, anxiety
She's
levels wouldn't really allow for you to
yeah,
be gone too
I'm
long.
not sure she'd be too good with that. But that said, I have been contemplating it for this one for sort of the maybe the last 20, 30,000 words. I might pack myself in a car and go somewhere for a week or two.
Mm.
Um,
Now, because you've written like a million different things, like you just throw out like I know what 20 or 30,000, what does that mean? Like how many pages is that? Or is that like the last half? Is that the last
well, see, so
quarter?
this
Or
is the
like
reason novelists in particular talk in terms of word count and
words?
not
Yeah.
page count is because
Book
page count is
fonts.
meaningless, right? It
Right.
depends on the font
Book and the font.
and
Yeah.
so on. So an average sized fiction novel is about 80,000 words. A longer one, maybe 100, 110. Like I think the longest I've ever written was about 130,000, like published, came in at about 130. But
So you're on like the last quarter.
yeah, that's what I'd be talking about. I'm not there right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like this one's gonna be big. This
Ooh.
this book this book is gonna be a large one. I'm maybe coming up on the halfway point.
Okay.
maybe, and I'm not sure about that. I might be at a third because one of the things that's going on is the narrative in this one just structurally is a present narrative, and then there is a past narrative that is sort of moving up to meet the present,
Mm-hmm.
and then there are other characters that you're following. So there are effectively three narrative
Like
strands
different,
running.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're braiding. So making sure they're braiding properly and informing each other properly.
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point, the story will hit a certain point where we're fixed in the present,
Mm-hmm.
and at that point, it's just going to be everything moving forward.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
first half of this book is basically all building to an event, and it is a plot event as well as a character event, and it's not. I mean, I don't think the book is coy about it. Like you can tell this is where you're going, but in an action suspense novel, to be where I am and to have not had anybody, you know, shoot, jump, punch, or otherwise is odd. And it's a different book for me in that sense because this is absolutely a Kodiak novel. Kodiak
Mm-hmm.
novels tend to have you know somebody with a gun coming through the door at some point.
Right,
Um,
right.
but this is also it's about so much thematically and it is a genre book, but it's also a story about being a parent,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's a story about getting older, and it's a story about cycles of violence and surviving them, and how we carry our pasts and how hard they are to set down, and sometimes the need to not set them down sometimes you know
Mm-hmm.
and then of course it's got its take on the world,
Yes.
right? Which is, surprise, the bad guy's a billionaire.
Yeah, yeah. Greg's rosy take on the world.
Look, I mean, like, there was a great John Rogers quote I saw on Blue Sky like last week, which effectively came down to we need to understand that $1 billion is the socioeconomic equivalent of a loose nuke, and he's right. He is so fucking right. And all you have to do is look at this bullshit that Musk is pulling. And oh my God, have you ever seen? This is the thing I don't get, right? Like anybody with any sense of perception is looking at Musk's behavior in the last couple of weeks and going, wow, he is pants wettingly terrified,
Yeah.
right? Like
It's
his behavior is the behavior of somebody who is literally pissing himself scared. He is so terrified, and it's very clear why, right? If Harris wins, then his whole house of cards collapses, right? You're seeing it's the behavior of the best way I could think to describe it, and it's the emotional tone, and I don't know if this will make sense. It's that thing when you were 6 or 7 and you did the thing, and then you knew you were gonna get in trouble for it, and there was no way out. Like you broke the vase, or you ate the candy bar that you weren't supposed, and there was no way to replace it, right? It was like there is a fixed amount of time before the hammer falls, but the hammer is falling at a certain point. Mom's going to look at you, dad's going to look at you, or the teacher's going to look at you, and they're going to say, where is the what did the why are you?
hmm
And no story you say, right? You can't run from it. There's nowhere you can go. You're not going to be able to lie,
hmm
right? There's no lie that'll do it. You're going to have to own it. And it's that, and that's, you can literally see it in his behavior.
Yeah.
That's the dread. He's been caught. He knows he's been caught, and he's in the moment between caught and punished,
Mm,
right?
okay.
And he is, and that's his terror, and you can see it. You can see it.
Yeah.
And I the phrase is "fuck around and find out." I'm really looking forward to the "and find out" portion of the evening's entertainment.
Yeah, me too. I
Oh
mean, I
boy,
couldn't
am I!
pinpoint it the way you were, but I was like, he's acting like a petulant child and just
Yeah,
like
no,
one that's just like lost it. And
he's in
that makes a
panic
lot of
mode,
sense. He's in panic
and
mode. Yeah.
and and
What is
and this has actually
happening?
been covered in the mainstream media, right? Like Trump has said, "Oh yeah, no, you'll be able to have oversight over all of these things. Oh, I'll be able to have oversight over all the things that are keeping me in check and that are about to punish me." Right? It's like no
Mm,
wonder he's all in. Right? He is terrified because he can't buy Harris. He
hmm.
can't buy his way out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So, and like I said, I mean, I got no guarantees on how this is going to go, and it's going to be a long ride, even in victory, right?
I
But,
know.
but I'm going to pop a lot of popcorn, and I'm going to put real butter with a little bit of salt on
Oh,
it,
I love
and
it.
I am very much looking forward to the "and find out"
I
portion of
am
the
too.
evening's
I love that you
entertainment.
phrased it that way. I love that
Yeah,
you phrased it that way
yeah,
because yeah, it's terrifying. And again, it's amazing how I still am subject to this, even though I have not turned on one news channel. Like people
yeah.
like to
No, you
send
can't avoid
stuff,
it.
and you can't avoid it. You just can't avoid it. And so, yeah, I told Oscar, I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I want to do that day. Like, should we just skip the country and just like put our headphones on? But then I want to be here for my family because my mom might legitimately have a panic if it goes like I
Yeah.
was like, oh, we need to be here for them, and then just kind of let our students come in and have their place of sanctuary and just like this is not where
And
we yes let's breathe and let's
let the
do
stress
work
out,
out. Yeah, we may need that week with them, but yeah, we'll be skipping town after that, a
and
little
it
bit after
and it is
that.
it's going to be a long ride. You're
Yeah,
not
like
going
you
to
said, even
see.
if the result is what we would prefer, but it's still going to be
Well, and
hectic and chaos.
they're gonna do everything they can to obfuscate it if it's not in their favor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Every single thing that they can do to slow it down, drag it out, contest it, argue it, fight over it,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. And
Oh
so
yeah.
this is not over on the
Florida will
fifth.
be in
This
the
is
middle of it.
mhm.
It's like-
Yeah. Let's hang some chads. So yeah, and so what are you gonna do? Like the only things you're going to be able to do are, you know, try to regulate the input and or
Yeah,
the intake and know when to step away and verify the stuff you're hearing is going to be a big thing,
I
right? It's going to
know,
be a real
right?
big
That's a
thing
really big
because
thing. It's hard
there's
to
going to be
find
a
the
lot,
reliable.
yeah, there's going to be a lot of misinformation flying and a lot of speculation and a lot of um, and a lot of deliberate lies. Going to be a lot of lying. So okay. All right. No,
Oh
I
my.
mean, we're gonna, because what else is there, right?
Yeah.
What else can we do?
Yeah. Yeah, that's all we can do. And like I said, when we kind of started out, it's like we're doing our part. You're writing those postcards till your fingers turn
Yeah.
blue and green and
The nice thing is
different colors.
we have to own at this point something like 50, 60 different bottles of ink. So it's a really good excuse to be like, well, let's load this pen and see what this
Yeah.
ink looks like on these postcards.
I have
Oh,
seen that you have been um gathering your collection and it's been growing and all of that. I
it's
mean,
we
but the
got
ink will stay, right? It's not like it goes bad.
It does actually go
Oh,
bad.
it does.
It
So
does
it will it
actually go bad.
evaporate and stuff too, or it just gets like
Yeah,
the
or the pigments will
consistency, the
break
vis.
down
Okay,
if
okay.
it's
So yeah, you got
pigmented
to use it
and or
up.
the dyes. Yeah, so
Okay.
this is good. We're rotating it along.
Yeah.
Everything's going according to plan.
So now tell me
Everything's
with
good.
these postcards, because you're writing them, do they know it's from you or they're just generic?
No,
Oh man,
no,
because I would be like,
they
holy
are
shit, I got a postcard from Greg Rucka.
okay. One, you would be, but
So many
that's
people.
you.
So many people. I
No,
think
no,
you'd be
there are
like this
not
really
that
cool
many
surprise.
people in Ohio who are going to go, I know who this name is. What you get is it's you sign up and you tell them how many you're willing to do, and you get sent a box with the postcards and with mailing lists and an instruction sheet. And the instruction sheet says this is when you will send them. And then it'll give you basically three. What we've got is three variations on a please vote
Right,
and
right.
please
Like kind of a
encourage others to vote
template
message.
to follow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my friends
So
in
and then
Hawaii did it and they sent me, but it looked like they signed off. So I was like, oh, okay.
yeah,
So I
no,
don't,
because you do it by they want you to do it by hand and you're supposed to
yes.
sign it. So,
Okay.
but I'm not saying, I sign it Greg,
Oh,
and
okay.
nobody
All
can
right,
read that
everyone out
anyway.
there in Ohio, just so you know,
Ohio,
if you got
yes,
one
if
of
you get
those
a postcard
postcards,
from
it's from the Greg Rucka. Please
yes,
post it
if
and and
it
DM me.
may
Let
be
me
it
know.
may be collectible, or it may be an artifact of of the last free election of the United States. So,
Oh my
um,
God.
we'll see what it is.
Oh my gosh, I love
Um,
it.
so yeah, no, and you get a printout,
Hmm.
and the nice thing is the message is nonpartisan. The
Right,
message is
right,
get
right.
out
It's
and vote
positive.
for
Get out and vote.
Harris
Yeah.
or vote. It literally is, hey, thank you for being a voter.
Hmm.
Your friends and family might need your reminder to vote.
Okay. Okay.
Please let them know, or please ask them to vote
Oh,
on
okay.
November 5th, you know.
Right.
And that's all it is. It's very
Okay.
simple.
Hmm.
Or it's like, it's along those lines. Now
Yes.
there are different
There's different ones
messages.
because yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
the Hawaii ones were like two red states going, hey, maybe, from your friends in Hawaii, we're blah blah blah. And then it was something because my mom is always looking
Yeah.
for ways to be involved. And then she went to the call bank and she was like, "Oh my God, I was so hoarse from calling." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm like, maybe this one's not for you. Maybe do the postcard thing." I thought that would be really
Yeah.
cool. And so I had looked into it for her. So that's why I was so curious because
Yeah,
I,
no, it's
they all want everybody wants ways to be involved that's reasonable for them, right? And so
and that's terrific, right? Like here's the way you
yeah.
can participate, and
Yes.
it's so like we're out the stamps on these, right? The postcard
Mhm.
stamps on them
Yes,
is
yes.
what we're going to pay,
That's what you're
and I can
giving.
afford to do
So
that. I can
yes.
do that. I can
Yeah.
make that donation in addition to all the other donations I've made. Um, but the nice thing is, right, and again, it's you want to be able to donate your effort,
Hmm.
right,
Yeah.
and there are lots of different mechanisms available, which is a good thing to remember. There are different ways to. Not everything requires, here's another $50 or whatnot.
Exactly, because not everybody
Be
has that, right? And so but
exactly,
there's a lot of action items, and that's what I always
yeah,
tell people. Volunteering is a wide range of things. It doesn't also mean like 100 hours. It could be 1 hour. Like the 1 hour adds up if a lot of people do it. So 100%. I mean, don't I know it? The problem is I volunteer and it ends up being like 3.5 years of my life.
yeah. I mean,
I'm a little extreme. Like,
the problem with some of it is that once you get in, right, you there is a feedback loop, right, which is I am participating and I feel better for
mhm.
doing a thing,
Yeah, yeah.
right, and a lot of what we suffer, and it goes to what are you going to do on election day, right? Because there's only so much you can do, right? Okay,
Hmm.
well, I mean, you want to go poll watch, you could, watch for irregularities. That sounds like a red state move, right? Doesn't it? Sounds like a little voter intimidation thing. Uh, but being able to act in a way that feels constructive is
Yes.
huge.
Yes.
It's vital.
It's
So,
vital. It's definitely vital
and
because,
consequently, once we
yeah.
start doing that, it's like, well, I'd like to keep doing that because I prefer the way I'm feeling now than the way I was feeling before I did anything.
True, true,
Right.
true. Yeah. Well, I like your postcard thing for you, especially because you have the stack, but then it's done.
Yes.
And then you're done.
Yes.
Like it's physically done. There's like a visual aspect and like a closure aspect to
We've
it,
actually,
which is
Jen and I
nice.
have talked about the fact that it's going to be a very, very nice moment to be able to put the stamps on all
Yeah.
these. So yeah,
I
we
mean,
did that, and then you
I
you
love
saw
this.
the Stop Project 2025 website, the comic project. Yes.
No.
Are you kidding me,
You
Mimi?
know I'm not on. Yeah, okay, so tell me
Oh yeah,
more.
you're on the Discord.
Okay, I am, but
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
always so far
Mimi.
behind.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
okay,
All
comic
right,
project.
hang on. I'm gonna drop this
Otherwise, I
right into your.
probably would have
I'm
asked you
putting
about
this
it
into
right
your
away.
chat. Yeah. Right. Well, read it and then we can talk this weekend, or I
Okay.
can get maybe Lieber or Scott Dunbier, who have been the faces on this on it as
Yeah.
well. But you do this, then literally that recording you've got to turn around and put out on Monday. All right.
Okay.
I just put the
Well,
link into the chat.
I see it. I mean, I'm putting this out on Monday for sure. So, oh, yeah, okay. Holy smokes. Okay. How many
Yeah,
comics are there?
22.
Oh, yeah. How come I miss this? Cully and Jean Ha. And this is what happens
Yeah.
when you don't really read the social media thing, because I bet it's on their pages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jen.
So yeah, get it out there and share that link everywhere. So if you have your Facebook and so on, share this link,
And so
right?
on. Yes. Yeah, well, for sure. And I think like
Look,
we have
all
like
I've got is
7
blue
minutes to
sky.
kind of go through. Yeah. And I know, but my reach is not huge, but I definitely have a lot of humans that know
All
that
of
I
it
love
counts.
comics and it all matters. And so yeah, I'll
It
definitely
all
share
matters.
this.
So yeah, we've
And
got
so what did you
22.
write?
No, no, we don't. We're
No.
not taking credit for specific stories. One
Oh,
of the
you're not.
things
Okay.
that we've decided is that
Yeah, tell me
this is a
about how this came
collective.
about. Yeah.
This is a non for profit volunteer effort by a bunch of comics creators to break down the absurd 900 plus pages
Holy
of
smokes.
Project 2025 into some tidbits so you know what the document is and what it will do. And as the intro on the website says, you know, we've made some comics to explain some of the agenda and move you to vote against it. We did this because you shouldn't have to read this monstrosity. After all, it's more than 50 times as long as the Declaration of Independence and the US Constitution combined. Our two founding documents are short because it doesn't take a lot of words to say you matter and you have a voice. Project 2025 is longer because it's a detailed plan to shut you up and shut you out. And so we've got there, here's it's organized alphabetically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some of them are a little more humorous than others. All of
Some
them are
fraction is
direct
there. Yep.
citations.
Mm-hmm.
So, like abortion and climate and Christian
Immigration.
nationalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healthcare.
How Project 2025 will destroy the education, will dismantle Noah, right? Gets rid of it. I mean, literally, we were talking about Hurricane Milton and Helene, and Project 2025 wants to shutter Noah, right? Because
Mm.
if you can't monitor the weather, there's no such thing as climate change, I guess.
Oh my God.
Um, that wants
Oh.
to. I mean, it's horrible.
Oh yeah, this is
It's
amazing. I will read this whole thing right after this call. And like, yeah, all Mike and Matt and everybody's on here. Like this is amazing.
yeah,
Yeah. So I
yeah,
will
and these are just listed creators. There are some contributors who just did not want to have their names listed for one reason or another,
okay,
either
yeah.
because they are, they either because they had some sincere concerns for their safety, because we know that the haters are going to hate.
Yep. Yep.
Others
Yep.
because literally their employers would not allow them to be involved in such a thing. So
Yeah, especially if they're under contract and with
yeah,
different, things,
so
publishers and things like that. So that's yeah, that's but oh, so this is so cool. So basically everybody collaborated and um there's no author assigned to any specific
nope. People took different
topic.
topics.
Everyone took different
Yeah,
topics and then and I mean just by the sheer number of people, like it looks like also there's like collab on the topics as well. Like it just this what's so cool about it is it's so collaborative and hopefully
but and it's all cited. Nothing's made up here.
right, yeah, this
Um,
is the point is that you're actually getting
yeah.
facts.
And then ultimately, there's also, if you're at the website and you click, there are two buttons: a register to vote button and a read the comic. And
Yes.
you can, for instance, click on one of the stories, and not only that, but you get the full transcript.
Yep.
There's a PDF that's downloadable. It's all
Mhm.
there. So um, we are. This was a work of passion um,
Definitely. And it
for a
you
lot
got
of
it done
people,
so quickly.
and just wonderful web design work, and I mean really just outstanding. So we've been encouraging anybody who checks it out, finds it worthwhile, to share the links, please.
Yes.
And you can link to the
And
specific stories, you can link to the PDF, but you know my penetration's blue sky. I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Threads, I'm not on Shitter, I'm not on any of that stuff. So people who, if you're responding to it, share these things, because
yeah.
it's not obviously the importance of this is for people who don't understand what 2025 is, right? Like Trump tried
Definitely. And no one's gonna
desperately.
read it.
Yeah, and Trump ran from it remarkably quickly, in the same way that Vance has disappeared in the last week, right? Nobody's talking about him either anymore, right?
Yeah,
And it's like, don't let them hide. They're
exactly.
trying to hide.
Yeah. Yeah. And we definitely don't want them um to hide from what they've put out and what they've condoned and what they agree with. And so
And
this is very helpful
what they
for me
mean.
even
Yeah.
because I um one love reading comics, but also the fact that I can get the actual details and then speak halfway intelligently on it and when someone asks because I feel like I don't ever have all of the facts so sometimes I'm not able to rebuttal things or
It's a
other
lot.
than
I mean,
it's so much
it
so
is a lot, and they obfuscate it,
yeah
right? I
yeah
mean, it is. So it isn't easy.
hmm
And one of the reasons that you create a 900-page plus document to implement these things is, you are both being very laying a very detailed roadmap as to how to enforce your Christo-fascist vision of the country. And the thing that's I find this more and more fascinating, honestly, is that the interpretation of Christianity that is being pursued by the people behind this is such an outlier interpretation. Like 99% of people who identify as Christian do not share these values or views. And yet, here is a group of people who are not only dictating now what's appropriate for, children, for people to read, what you can learn, but literally the kind your faith, the nuance and nature of your faith. There is no interpretation. It is this version, and that's it. And that unholy collaboration with greed. And one of the remarkable things about Project 2025, when you really look at it, is how much of it is about greed. Like, it's all about privatizing this stuff. It's all about making it possible for the people who already are grossly wealthy to increase their wealth. It gets rid of overtime effectively, right? Effectively, one of the changes that it's advocating for is monetizing overtime, not on a weekly basis, but on a monthly. So I only have to pay you overtime if I go over your hours in a month. But that means, right, I can cram your month's worth of work into, 24-hour shifts. I don't have to pay you extra for that. I don't have to do that. I mean, it's really criminal. And then you go back and you look at all these quotes that Trump has about never wanting to pay for overtime, that he refused to pay for overtime. Right? I mean, it's no question here. None.
Oh, it's
None
no
whatsoever.
question. None whatsoever.
So,
But yeah, this really does break it down. I mean, because I've been scrolling it and like yeah, it's very digestible but scary. So so listeners and readers, it is fact though that we need to be informed voters. Like that's the thing. It's people have been asking me for my what do you call it, cheat sheet, or like, hey, you research every single amendment and every single thing, what is it? I said, yeah, I'd love to share that with you, and I will, but I also want you to understand what all the things are, not just do what I'm voting for and what I say. I'm like, if you don't understand, I'm happy to explain it, because I feel like we're so uninformed, but it's also so overwhelming. The language is there to confuse you. It's purposeful. And so it's just one of those things. So I feel like this is fantastic. And yes, kudos to everyone. I will list everyone's names here and I will post this. And during this episode, I'll actually try to push to get this out as soon as possible, really. So I'm gonna
well,
my lovely team put this out, and they'll
yeah,
actually
yeah,
put up some
yeah.
screenshots
Make
of
sure
this
that
while we're
and
speaking.
and and
Instead of
and the
our
link.
faces, nobody needs to see us.
Yes, the cool stuff.
Let's just
There's
scroll
some,
this while
but yeah, you
but
take a
yes.
look if you want. Right, like I said, I can. I am sure there will be people who would be happy to talk to you about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me see what I can get done in the short
Yeah,
amount of time we have. But I know you have a lot to do, and I
I
know that you
do.
have been doing a lot,
I
and so
have
I'm not
postcards. I
gonna
have
keep, and you've
postcards.
got postcards to
I've got
write. So
postcards to write.
for our listeners and viewers, I will leave you with a scroll of all of this Stop Project 2025 comic.org and the PDF,
Yes.
and show you here on the YouTubes and all that. But you can also get it for yourself. And like I said, be an informed voter. Thanks for the Rucka rant, and always good to see you.
Was
I
there
love
was was
you.
there a rock rant? Did I rant?
You
Or
know.
I'm always ranting, I
Yeah,
suppose. So,
it wasn't as you know,
eh,
intense as it could be, but I think it
we
was
we
legit.
don't we don't need to be the angry
No,
right
we
now.
don't need to raise
We
our
can be
blood
the
pressure. We
brave.
can be, yes, there it is. Love
Okay.
it. All right, until next time.
All right. Great to see you, Mimi.
Likewise. That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to the Sifu Mimi Chan Show. Please subscribe and rate my podcast on your platform of choice and leave a review. You can become a patron of the show at patreon.com/SifuMimiChan to help keep this podcast going. Follow me and interact on social media at Sifu Mimi Chan on Instagram or Facebook.